Hey Trojans, happy Wednesday. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to today's video lesson. Before we begin, you're going to need 4 things with you for today. Of course, you need your expectation sheet on this wonderful yellow piece of paper. Pull that out, make sure you've got it on your desk so you can reference our champs, the supplies you need, how to access help, and how to make sure we are successful together. Once again, I'm going to scoot down there just a little bit. One of these days, I'll set my chair before we start. The next thing you'll need is something you should have from yesterday, unless you already turned it in, is your homework. Please, today, take your homework and place it in our class bucket. That way I can give you credit for it, and I can also check for understanding. If you've already turned it in, awesome, way to go. I will be grading those today. Up next are 2 things that you should get from your host teacher. If you are at home, these are both digitally on our Schoology page. Up first, we have our Lesson 6 packet. It is, I believe, 4 pages of fun, and we're going to start this today, finish it tomorrow, and then on Friday, we are going to have a quiz on exponents and Lesson 6. And the last thing you'll need, which you'll also get from your host teacher today, is our homework for tonight. So once again, you are going to need 4 things for success today. Turn in your homework, get your Lesson 6 and your homework from your host teacher, and always have your yellow expectation card out. All right, as we get started today, kick it in. I'm going to pull up our agenda, and we're just going to talk about that for just one moment. We do have 5 things to do today. First, we're going to watch our lesson video. Oh, look, you've already started on that. Way to go. In our lesson video, we're going to do our check-in and review our agenda. That's what we're doing right now. Then we're going to have a number talk, and then we're going to begin Lesson 6. I am also going to go ahead and close this door because that was annoying the heck out of me. Second thing on our list is to go ahead and complete that discussion post from our lesson video. So as you're watching this video, there's a prompt for a discussion post with sentence stems. We're going to then, after the video, post that discussion post. Third is some IXL skill practice. We are practicing D2 in 6th grade. It is evaluating exponents, so this week's skill. And then after that, we are going to complete an iReady math lesson. You want to complete 1 full lesson. If you need help figuring out whether or not you've completed the lesson, let me know. I'm happy to help you. I can also show your host teachers how to check as well. And then 5th is our homework. It is designed to be homework, so you don't need to get it through in our class time today. I do expect our class time today to take you between an hour and 15 minutes, just like if we were here in person, so between 60 and 75 minutes. Please make sure you're working through everything in order, as always. And if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me or your host teacher or ask your neighbor. All right. I'm not going to hit the wrong button today. I'm going to kick it over here. There we go. Here we are. So the first thing we're going to do is our number talk. And today is going to be a notice and wonder. And usually we've done these about pictures. But today we actually have an expression. We know it's an expression because there's no equal sign. We are going to take 27 seconds. Take that back. We'll take a whole minute because you've got to write 2 sentences. I want you to think about what you notice about this expression and what question you have. So one thing you recognize or you see in this expression, and then one thing you notice or you have a question about. You're going to take 1 minute. You're going to think about this to yourself, and then on a piece of paper, you're going to write down your 2 sentences. Our 2 sentences, I'll move myself out of the way here, are I notice, what do you notice? Ends with a period, starts with a capital letter. And our second sentence is I wonder blank, period. Capital letter, period. All right, you have 1 minute to think about what you notice, what you wonder, and write down your 2 sentences. Go. What do you notice? I see there's obviously numbers. This looks similar to what, I notice. What do I wonder? What questions does this bring to me? What am I seeing in this? Why does this look familiar? We'll take about 20 more seconds to get down our 2 sentences. All right, that is our time. Y'all will come back together. At the end of our video, you're going to take those 2 sentences you wrote. I noticed something, 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 period. Capital I wonder something, 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 period. And you're going to type those into our discussion post. That is what you are doing after the video, but now you have those written down, so you can put those off to the side, or if they're in your notebook, perfect. At the end of the video, take those 2 sentences and put them in our discussion post. Up next, we are going to do a brainstorm before we dive into lesson 6 today. I put myself back here, full-ish screen down in the corner. We are going to brainstorm for 90 seconds on this topic. I want you to write down everything you know, everything this topic makes you think of. So there are no wrong answers, lots of right answers. We are going to have our topic up here. You will need a blank piece of paper, or continue on where you just wrote your sentence. You'll need space to write. Everything you know about the order of operations. So what do you know about the order of operations? We're going to take 90 seconds together to brainstorm and write down everything we know. I realize I should probably zoom in a little bit here. There we go. 90 seconds, independent work time, level 0, go. What do you know? If this doesn't sound familiar to you at all, what do you know about these words that are here? What is an order? What is operations? How does it relate to math? If you already know that, what did we talk about? This sounds familiar. Why does it sound familiar? What sounds familiar? What do you remember from prior years in the past? We're about halfway there. We're going to take another 45 seconds. Keep going, keep building off things this makes you think of. If you think you're done, come up with more things that you could think about. If you run out of things to think about, come up with synonyms for these words. When would you use this? Why would we use this? Operations, that sounds like something I do at the doctor. Why are we doing this in math? We've got about 15 more seconds to wrap up our thinking. This is some good stuff. I'll pull my chair back up. And that is our time. So I can't wait to hear and see what you wrote down about this. And that really kickstarted our gears. But I'm going to pose a question to you. And this question that I'm going to pose is this. How do you evaluate? How do you solve this expression? I'm going to give you 30 seconds to take on this expression here. 3 plus 4 times 2. 3 plus 4 times 2. Nothing super hard here, so we're going to take about 10 more seconds to wrap up our thinking. And that is our time. Awesome. So as I'm looking around with my super teacher abilities, and I'm looking around to see everybody, I see that we came up with 2 different things. The first was that we evaluated 3 plus 4 first. We said 3 plus 4. Please don't write down what I'm writing down here. I'm so sorry. I should have been more clear about that. Do not write down what I'm writing down here. We're going to have a discussion about this. I just got to get the 2 things I saw on paper. We can do 3 plus 4 first equals 7. And second, then we multiply 7 times 2 for a product of 14. So that was moving left to right. The second thing I saw people do was first multiply 4 times 2, and that equaled 8. So multiplying 4 times 2, we got a product of 8. And then I saw people add 8 plus 3 for a sum of 11. So we got two answers here with the same problem, but only one of these answers can be correct. When we evaluate expressions, when we solve problems like this, we must agree to use one set of rules so that everyone arrives at the same answer. Because if we don't determine which we need to do first, what order we follow things in, we will all get different answers. So we want to think about subtraction, because we'll be doing some subtraction here, as counting back. So starting with a number and then counting back from that. Starting, counting back. So you learned addition and subtraction first. And you learn these first because they're the least complicated. They're the simplest things to do. You're putting things together, you're taking them apart. Next, you learned about multiplication multiplication and division. So multiplication, we've talked about how it is just repeated addition. In lesson 5, we looked at that problem right here. I said 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus so many 4s, 10 4s. And we said when we add repeatedly, we could also just multiply them. And then the opposite is true, because addition is the opposite of subtraction and multiplication is the opposite of division. So if we do the opposite of multiplication, it would be division. And so if multiplication was repeated addition, division is repeated subtraction. So that means we're subtracting again and again to get division. Going back here, multiplication and division are more powerful than addition and subtraction. This led mathematicians to develop the order of operations in this way. And if you remember from last year, order of operations is the steps we follow to solve problems. Mathematicians all got together to come up with the specific order, the specific steps we need to follow so we all get to the same answer and don't end up with different things. When we evaluate expressions that have any of these 4 operations, we always calculate multiplication and division first before doing any addition or subtraction. Since multiplication and division are equally powerful, we just evaluate these 2 operations as they're written in the expression from left to right. So it doesn't matter if multiplication is left of division or division is left of multiplication. We always do multiplication and division together. Remember, we think because they're friends. Multiplication and division are so close, they move together across left to right. This is from last year. We're thinking back. Awesome. Addition and subtraction, multiplication and division are up here. Addition and subtraction are down here. But they're still on the same level in the order of operations. And they're also great friends, so they're evaluated from left to right in an expression. Now that these rules of the order of operations are clear, we're going to go back and we're going to evaluate this to get 11. So we've got to do our multiplication first. Multiplication first. We do our multiplication and division, and then we do our addition and subtraction. Multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So we're really starting with 4 groups of 2. When we multiply 4 times 2, we are making 4 groups of 2. So I'm going to draw that here. 1 group of 2. Second group of 2. Third group of 2. Fourth group of 2. So we have 4 groups of 2. And that's 8. And then we're also going to add in 1 group of 3. So we did 4 times 2 plus the 3 on its own. Awesome. So with addition, we are finding the sum of 2 addends. So we have the first number and the second number. In this problem, in this example, the first addend, the first thing we're adding together is the number 3. The second addend happens to be the number that is the value of the expression 4 times 2. So this is the first one. This is the second one. First addend, second addend. And I'm just going to write that word off to the side so we see what it looks like. Addend. It's just a number we add together. So our first addend to the left of the addition sign is 3. The second addend to the right of the addition sign is 4 plus 2. So before we can add those together, we must evaluate, we must solve to determine the value of this second addend. And we can do 4 times 2, that is 8. 3 plus 8 is 11. Awesome. So let's dive on into our lesson 6. Mine looks just like yours. Here we go. And in example 1, the first question it asks us says, just using addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and if you're thinking back to last year, you might know there's parentheses and exponents as well. But for right now, we are only looking at addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Out of these 4 things, which operations are evaluated first? Well, like we just said, we do the ones with the biggest power first. So that was multiplication and division. And of course, we're going to answer this in a full sentence because, we are smart mathematicians. So our answer to this question is multiplication and division are evaluated first. And we also want to add from left to right. All right, so multiplication and division. Multiplication and division are evaluated first from left to right. I'm going to pause here to make sure, now that we're in our notes, make sure you're writing down our notes or answering questions as we work through these. So make sure you've got this written down. Multiplication, division are evaluated first. Also, we're going to add an arrow down here from left to right because that is the order we move from left to right. So the second question asks us the opposite. It says, what operations are always evaluated last? Well, if we've already done multiplication and division, what's left? Addition and subtraction. But of course, we're going to answer this in a complete sentence. Addition and subtraction are always evaluated last. Again, from left to right. And we'll just again add in our signs here. Addition, subtraction, left to right. I'm going to pause here for 1 minute just to give us time to get started, to get caught up, make sure we've got this written down, and then we're going to move on to our exercises for today. We'll be moving on in 30 seconds. Awesome. So we are going to take on exercises 1 through 3, and then we are going to move on to example 2, and then tomorrow we'll take on example 3 and example 4, and you'll practice our exercise and our problem set for tomorrow. But for right now, we want to take on exercise 1. I'll zoom in here since that is not taking up a lot of space. So here we've got just addition and multiplication, and we know we always do, here's our order of things that we are doing: multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. Oops. And that'll just help us work through here. So we've got to do our multiplication first. 2 times 7 is 14. You must rewrite the problem every time. So we're going to write what's left, 4 plus 14. And now we have 4 plus 14, so we have no more multiplication and division. We move down to our addition and subtraction. 4 plus 14 is now 18. Ooh, this next one gets tricky, because we work our multiplication. We now have 36 divided by 3 times 4. We have multiplication and division. Now remember, they're such good friends, we don't do the multiplication first. We do whatever comes on the left side first, and in this case, that would be the division. So we're going to do 36 divided by 6 first. 36 divided by 3 first. 36 divided by 3 is 12. Then we're going to rewrite the second part down. Anything we haven't solved yet, so 12 times 4. We're going to bring that 4 down. And then we can solve 12 times 4. And 12 times 4 is absolutely 48. All right, I'm going to give you 45 seconds to take on problem number 3 here. Go. We've got about 10 seconds left. All right, I know I must do the multiplication first because we have multiplication and division before addition and subtraction. So 5 times 2 is 10. Then I know I must rewrite the 20. So I have 20 minus 10, and 20 minus 10 is 10. So this expression evaluates to 10. All right, check your work against mine. If you have questions, let me know, let your host teacher know, ask your neighbor. All right, we are going to move on to example 2. Now we're moving into exponents. Our problems have some exponents as well. In our last lesson, we learned about exponents, which are a way of writing repeated multiplication. So multiplication was repeated addition. We said multiplication was more powerful than addition. If exponents are repeated multiplication, that means they are going to be more powerful than multiplication or division. So we have addition and subtraction, multiplication and addition, and now exponents at the top. If exponents are present in an expression, so if there are exponents, they are evaluated, we solve them before any multiplication or division. We now know when we evaluate expressions, when we solve problems, we must agree to use one set of rules so that everyone arrives at the same correct answer. These rules are based on doing the most powerful operations first, which are exponents, then the less powerful ones, multiplication, division, going from left to right, and finally the least powerful ones, addition and subtraction, going from left to right. So we are going to take on this expression here. We have 4 plus 9 squared, 9 to the second, divided by 3 times 2 minus 2. And I forgot to say this before, I'm so sorry. It is okay to use a calculator during this whole time. You can use one on your computer. You can use a calculator, whatever you need. Absolutely. So our first question says, which operation is evaluated first? Well, we now know we had multiplication and division at the top, but exponents were more powerful, so we do those before multiplication and division. So our first operation that is evaluated is going to be expressions. Sorry, not expressions. I need some more coffee. Exponents. And that is going to be 9 squared, which is equal to 9 times 9, which is equal to 81. So what operations are evaluated next? So we had exponents, then we have multiplication and division left to right. So here we have multiplication and division. And in here we have a division sign and a multiplication sign. We are going to do the division first because it's on the left. And we do the multiplication. So the first thing we have to do is 9 squared divided by 3, which we said was 81 divided by 3. And that equals 27. Then we're going to do 27, because this right here is 27. 27 times 2, which is 54. Ooh, I have cut myself off there, so sorry. So we did 81, which is 9 squared, divided by 3, which is 27, and 27 times 2. But we don't have an answer yet. We do know that all of this is now equal to 54. So we could read this problem now that we've solved, evaluated part of it. 4 plus 54 minus 2. So what do we solve last? What operations are always solved last? Absolutely, addition and subtraction. So we are going to do 4 plus 54, which equals 58. We're going to take that answer, 58 minus 2 equals 56. So now all of this equals 56. So what is our final answer? Our final answer is 56. I'll have to flip my paper over 1 second. Okay. We're going to move down to exercises 4 and 5. We are going to do exercise 4 all together, and I'll zoom in here since it's a smaller one. off to the side here, I'm going to put an E for exponents, an M and a D for multiplication division, and then an A and an S for addition and subtraction. Now, if we read that, I'm also going to write it vertically here because it's starting to make a word, or I'll write it horizontally. That looks kind of like a word. I bet I'd say it MDAS. Excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Maybe that sounds familiar. Okay, well, we'll get there once we get to tomorrow. But for now, we're going to work our exponents first. Then we're going to evaluate our multiplication division left to right. Then our addition, then subtraction left to right. So the first thing we need to do is evaluate our exponents. Do we have any exponents? Absolutely, because today is all about exponents in our order of operations. Our exponent is 5 squared, 5 to the second power, and 5 to the second power is 25. Now I'm going to go ahead and rewrite the rest of the problem just like you should every time. As you evaluate these expressions, as you solve these problems, rewrite what is left every time. So we have 90 minus 25 times 3. This will make sure that you do not mix things up and you don't lose something just by mistake, because that would be super sad. So we've done our exponents. Up next, we have our division and multiplication. Is there any division? No. There is some multiplication. We have 25 times 3. So we're going to do 25 times 3, and knowing 3 quarters, each quarter is 25 cents, 3 quarters is 75 cents. 25 times 3 is 75. So we've done our exponents, our multiplication, division. We are going to rewrite this expression. 90 minus 75. The only thing we have left is addition and subtraction. We have no addition, just the subtraction. So we will do 90 minus 75, and 90 minus 75 is 15. So our answer is 15. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to go ahead and take on number 5 on your own. And then we'll come back together and talk about it. But do give it a shot. You got 2 minutes, level 0 on your own. Go. We're following these same 3 steps: exponents, division and multiplication, subtraction and addition. Awesome, great work. There's somebody moving up my driveway. Gotta silence that notification. We can take about 1 more minute. Make sure you're following the same steps we take: exponents, multiplication, division, subtraction, and addition. If you need help, look right up at this problem we just did above. It's got a lot of the same operations, so we'll do them in the same order. We'll take about 30 more seconds. If you finish early, create your own problem with exponents, multiplication, addition, subtraction, division. And if you write it on a separate piece of paper or an index card, you can give it to me and I will solve it. Awesome, that is our time. So first we're going to solve our exponents. 4 to the third power is 64, because that is 4 times 4 times 4. Do our exponents first. Then we rewrite the rest of our problem. 64 plus 2 times 8. Up next, we have our division and multiplication. Multiplication, division, left to right. We only have multiplication. So we'll do 2 times 8. 2 times 8 is 16. Rewrite the rest of the equation, rest of the expression, 64 plus 16. And last, but certainly not least, we're going to do our subtraction and addition. 64 plus 16 is 80. So our ultimate answer is 80. All right. So we are going to do one more thing that I forgot to put in the beginning part of our video. I'll make sure I get it updated on Schoology. You do need one last thing, and this is just to help us out in our math class once we start rotating again. But it's going to take me some time to implement. So that's why we got to do it today. Your host teacher will have 2 index cards for you. And on your index card, please write your name nice and big. You can color it, you can design it. Doesn't have to be fancy. Mine is obviously just super basic. There we go. There's my name. You know it's me. So write your name on 2 index cards. They can look identical. They don't have to, but you do need your name nice and big on 2 index cards. Turn those in to our class bucket. That way I can take care of what we need to take care of with these. You'll see more about those when we start to rotate again. Awesome. Y'all, it is time. I'm going to set you free. At this point, take your sentences from our number talk, our notice and wonder. Take your sentences and put them in today's number talk discussion post. After that, go ahead and get into IXL, do skill D2, then do your iReady math lesson, and make sure you've got 2 index cards with your name on it. You have homework for tonight. It is 1 practice problem set about exponents, because we're still working on that skill from the rest of the week. And then on Friday, we will have a quiz on exponents and the order of operations. Y'all have an awesome day. If you need any help at all, let me, your host teacher, or your neighbor know. We're all happy to help you out. Have a wonderful day, Trojans, and I'll see you soon.